But we got to talk about the tires and the horsepower. In last year's championship race, we had these tires that we raced this past Sunday introduced, and before this race this past weekend, I thought last year's, taking out my personal thing with Denny Hamlin and all that at the end of the race, taking that out of the fact, I personally thought just the on-track performance, it was by far the best race we've ever seen at Phoenix Raceway for the championship race last year. But this year, one up, one up. And we had the same tires, but we had increased horsepower going from the 680 to the 750 horsepower for Phoenix Raceway. And I think that made a huge difference when it comes to braking zones, when it comes to your exit. You don't want to get too much on the gas. You might get the car a little bit loose because of all the horsepower. We saw issues with the tires throughout the weekend, whether it was practice, qualifying, and the race. We saw some tire blowouts. Just overall, just some fantastic racing. The best race, I would say, at Phoenix Raceway, in my opinion. But Cory, what were your thoughts on the racing that we saw at Phoenix Raceway?
That race was awesome. I mean, there was a lot there that we could talk about. The horsepower, the braking, the passing, everywhere. The three wides in both corners that you never see. Ryan Blaney going from the back to the front 3 times, it felt like. And I was rooting for Blaney because he was my pick. So seeing him and watching him the entire time, you saw how everyone could maneuver when they wanted to rather than just getting blocked by the dirty air constantly all race. So I was a huge fan of the race. The cautions were timely. All of it was great.
Yeah, I was overall. I really liked the race. I'd say it was overall very enjoyable. We had the action. We had a bunch of comers and goers, which is something I just love from NASCAR racing. Is when we get those comers and goers. That's always the best for me. I just like to see that. But Tyler, what were your thoughts on the race?
It was a great race. I mean, I've been going to Phoenix for a very long time, so it's hard for me to say that's the best race Phoenix has produced. But it's definitely up there, 100%. It reminded me of old school racing down at Phoenix. So before the reconfiguration down at Phoenix, this is a lot alike how you would actually see the racing at Phoenix. So I don't think I've seen that since they've reconfigured Phoenix. So that was awesome to see. I mean, it was a little bit an abnormally hot day, so we had a little bit more pressure on those tires for sure. If you were in the sun, man, it was scorcher for sure on Sunday, and I think that definitely had some play into it. But horsepower, tires, everything had definitely a little bit more to do with everything, and it was, like you guys said, one of the best races we've seen in Phoenix in a long, long, long time.
Yeah, it was overall just a great race. I would consider it a barn burner. I even looked at the post race poll for Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi, and I think that was like 85 or something like that. A really good number for post race poll. Everybody seemed to enjoy the race, and Blaney's also a pretty popular driver amongst fans, whether that's your favorite driver. I don't know anybody that dislikes Ryan Blaney per se, so that was probably a fairly popular win, I would say. Maybe it would be a lot different if Ty Gibbs won that race. Maybe it would have been like 70 or 75 or something like that. I found myself cheering for Baby Gibbs in those late laps. I'm not going to fake. I never thought I'd actually say that, but when it came down to it, I found myself cheering for Baby Gibbs a little bit at the end of that race. Overall, just great race. A great race.